Thank you guys for having me. First of all, I just want to say thanks to the Tepper family and the Carolina Panthers organization. It's a blessing to be back in North Carolina. It's a blessing to be here with the coaches and the people in the building that are fired up to be a part of this Panthers organization. I'm right there alongside of them, and I couldn't be more happy to be here. My fiance, for in the span of 8 months, going to her third team, she's fired up to be here as well. We're going to be bleed blue and really look forward to attacking this offseason and getting after it.
All right, let's jump into questions. Let's go to Josh Graham first.
Hey, Brad. Josh Graham here in the Triad, in a place you know well in Winston-Salem. Just starting with that, how did Jim Grobe help mold you when you were in Winston-Salem, and how did that really jumpstart your coaching career?
Hey, Josh, I appreciate the question. Jim Grobe, to this day, continues to reach out, and I think it's the personal aspect that he brought to coaching that really, for me, kind of opened up the door to when I was, a senior trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. I thought coaching might be a possibility just because he put his arm around every single player he had in the program, myself included, as a transfer walk-on, and he gave us all opportunities to get out there and play at the highest level. For him, he really inspired in me, like, coaching is more than just the X's and O's. It's about investing in people, and he did that in every single person in that building, and I still I thank him for that, and I love the friendly reminders I get from him every now and again as I take my own coaching journey.
And one more. When you started at Wake Forest, or when you arrived at Wake Forest, the Panthers drafted some guy named Cam Newton that year. So I wonder, was there a consciousness of that while you were in school? Did you adopt the Panthers while you were playing at Wake?
A little bit. My dad has been in the NFL, so I was adopting whatever team he was with. So I sported a lot of different colors during my upbringing, and I think, being around the league, you kind of find, and my fiance's finding out pretty quickly, you change shirts, and your loyalty is, with the people that you're currently working with. And man, I just can't say enough about the building we're in here today. And just how excited I am to be with this organization and this group of people. We're so proud to just be a part of it.
Thanks, Brad. Welcome.
Yep, thank you.
All right, let's go to Mike Kay, followed by Joe Person.
Hey, Brad. Welcome. Mike Kay from the Charlotte Observer. When you look at this group of coaches, it seems like everybody kind of speaks the same language just because you've either been in Seattle or you've been in Tampa together, especially offensively. Can you speak to how important that is as you guys are trying to build this program under Dave?
Yeah, vocabulary and language is really important. It's the first thing we addressed as coaches, from philosophy all the way down to what we're doing detailed on a route or a run scheme. The first thing we did when we came in as coaches was go ahead and nail down what we want to call things and how we want to teach it, because we all have experiences, and I think opening up the floor to those conversations of the different experiences we've had and kind of nailing down how we want to present it to the players, that was the first order of business. So we really enjoyed those first 4 or 5 weeks or so of just getting to know each other on a personal level, but then also, hey, what do we want to be as an offense? How do we want to present to the players to grow and all kind of march in one direction?
Brad, and then with your experience with the wide receiver position, Nate, there's several people on this staff that have wide receiver backgrounds. I'm just curious, what do you see in this wide receiver room as it's currently constructed, and how do you think you can get more out of this group than maybe you got the previous staff got last year?
Just looking at the group, from here forward, we're operating with a blank slate. So we are starting from square one with every single guy and investing in him in his development this offseason. So we're really from a veteran who's been around like Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson, all the way down to a young guy like Jonathan Mingo going into his second year. We're just letting them show us through the tape that they put on, the things they put on tape this offseason. Okay, what is their progression looking like now currently? So we're just excited to really just strip this thing down to the bolts and build things up one day at a time.
Hey, Brad, Joe Person with The Athletic. How you doing, man?
Good.
Appreciate you doing this. I had a question about Bryce. I don't think I'm making this up. Did Dave tell us that when you guys were at Tampa, you guys looked at some film of Bryce. I know obviously you signed Baker in March, but did y'all do any early study of Bryce prior to that?
Every year we evaluate all the quarterbacks as if we need one. I think that's a healthy process to go through when you're in the NFL. At the end of the day, if the very least, is something that we could provide EJ when we're preparing for him. At least we know, what we're going up against. So there's definitely familiarity with all the players that are coming into the league. Will Harriger has done a phenomenal job this offseason breaking down this whole QB draft class from top to bottom. So we really treat every year the same and don't leave any stone left unturned when it comes to the draft.
Wonder what your impressions were of Bryce last February, let's say.
Obviously a winner. You look at a guy, he finds a way to win. His arm talent is phenomenal. He makes great professional throws all over the field at the short, intermediate, and down the field as well. But he's a winner, and that's something you can't truly quantify all the time. And we're really excited to have him here. Really excited to watch him progress this offseason alongside his teammates.
All right, let's go to David Newton, followed by Vashti Hurt.
Grant David Newton with ESPN.com. Welcome to Charlotte. Wanted to follow up on Joe a little bit. What have you seen in Bryce now that you didn't see in him last year when you were going through film study that either impressed you or you feel like he needs to work on?
You look at the film and he put plenty on tape to show you that this is the guy we thought he was. But as far as who we see now, we're in the classrooms right now. So we're really excited to just see that professionalism that he brings to the table, why he won so much, throughout every step of his career. We're excited to build on that and just watch him progress as we, get the chance to hit the field with him and watch him take this team and lead it.
And I also want to ask you, I guess Dave's calling the plays, but you're the coordinator. So how does all that work? How much input do you have in the play calling? And how would you describe the philosophy that Dave and you are bringing to this team?
Yeah, I think there's a familiarity and trust with me and Dave that runs pretty deep. We've known each other for a long time, and we've always pinged ideas off each other. So we kind of plays devil's advocate to each other, which I think for us keeps each other in check. But at the same time, we know what each other wants. We know philosophy. When you mention philosophy, we know we want to run the ball. We want to start up front and play a physical game, and then the rest will kind of build off of that. And then, as we grow, start to see, where does our team go? What path does it go down? Whether it's the quarterback, the running back, the O-line, what schemes do we need to put in that fit our team, and kind of start to angle our team and our philosophies as far as X's and O's are concerned with what they're showing us. So I think it's not being too rigid in what you're presenting the guys, giving them a good enough width and a good enough sample size to see where this team wants to go.
Saying Straff, obviously looking for wide receivers to add to what you already have. How would you classify the depth of this class and finding impact players? Do you feel like there'll be plenty in second and third round?
Yeah, I think top to bottom, this is a really deep receiver class. We're really excited. Rob Moore's done a phenomenal job evaluating these guys. So has Nate Carroll. It's nice having a lot of eyes on the film, a lot of crossover. Even Berkovici has done a little quarterbacks, a little receivers. So we're doing a good job as a staff, just kind of cross-checking each other. And then a lot like the X's and O's we mentioned before, just doing, putting things on the table and having conversations about guys. Who's our Panthers fit, right? The football player, not just the numbers or the stats. Who's a Panthers fit as we build this culture?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Daryl Horowitz, followed by Jeff Hawkins.
Hey, Daryl.
Hi, Brad. Daryl Horowitz from Queen City Nerve. Welcome to Charlotte.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I imagine you've had a lot of time now to look at film from last season of Bryce Young and some of the concerns there were with him in the pocket and the backfield there. And I'm wondering, without revealing too much, if there's anything you could mention that you maybe saw that you think could be corrected or helped this upcoming season.
We really focused on the positives. We went back. Yeah, we studied last season, but we saw what he did throw, and we're gonna, just like we mentioned, where do you want to take this team X's and O's wise? It's where do you want to take your quarterback, and what does he show immediately that he's willing to sit back there and rip, and then as we go and he shows us on the field here this offseason, we'll continue to build on the fundamentals. Will Harriger, one of the most prepared quarterbacks coaches you'll ever come across. Has examples of everything, and he's showing it to him on the daily, and then I can't wait to watch him get his hands dirty with him on the field, just honing in on all the fundamentals, the footwork, and then just being on time with the wideouts.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yep.
Greetings, Jeff Hawkins from the Charlotte Post.
Hey, Jeff.
Thanks for doing this. Regarding NFL draft, I know you're not in the QB market, but as an OC, what do you think of the local prospect Drake May? Is he a top 3 pick in your opinion?
Oh, I can't give away the keys to the castle right there, but Drake's a phenomenal player. I think just like the receiver position, they top to bottom, there's some really good quarterbacks in this draft too. And being a Wake Forest guy, I've watched him kind of torch the Deeks a couple times, and it's really hurt at a personal level. So. Got to rub shoulders with him a little bit in Indy. It seems like a phenomenal personality. Really excited to see where his career goes. I think the sky's the limit for him. He's got a lot of talent.
Any more questions for Coach? Let's go to
Hey,
Mike
Brad,
Turner.
I got one more for you. Tight end is a position you guys have kind of kept static as of now. But when you look at the way you guys use the tight end position, what traits do you look for in that position, maybe that can complement the room you already have?
Yeah, I think we have a couple of complementary players. And for us, it's going to sound like coach speak, but finding the best football player, and then we will mesh the X's and O's with who we have in the group. We really don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into saying we need a route runner or we need a blocker. We want the guy who can do both. And then, as we go and we want to trot out there with 12 or 13 personnel, we'll figure out where are the best spots to put them. And Pat McPherson has plenty of experience doing just that with a bunch of different types of athletes. So it's truly about finding the best football player who also fits the culture, and then is willing to absorb, what Pat McPherson's teaching them in the individual room.
And then Dave said in Orlando that he was fired up about the running back room. How do you view a rotation lining up here?
I think they let that kind of sorts itself out as we go throughout the offseason. You go through the preseason, and you let them compete right up until game one. We do have a lot of good runners. We put the tape on and talk about watching last year, and you see some guys that they finish runs, they run with attitude. And we're really excited for that as a starting point. And then Bernie's going to take them to the next level as far as just honing in on the details of pass pro, being well-rounded backs. But we have a couple of different talented runners in their own right, and we're just going to let them compete, let that thing sort itself out leading up to game one.
Thanks.
Go ahead, David.
You mentioned your dad earlier, and how did he influence what you look for in players today?
Yeah, when you grow up on the personnel side of things, and you're sending him mock drafts when you're in third grade, and you're telling him who he needs to pick, I think there's dialogue that's been going on there for 20 years now, and he's definitely influenced me, and I think we think very alike. And what I love about his process, even though he was on the personnel side of things, was he never forgot the football aspect. He never got enamored with a guy in gym shorts. He always went back to the tape. So I think that for me is always a solid reminder. Maybe I'll shoot him a prize. Hey, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about this guy? And he'll always be like, hey, go back and watch this game. It's never go back and watch his pro day, go back and watch his workout. Go back and watch his game and watch the football player.
Have you done that with Bryce? Sent him some tape and said, what do you think? And what did he say?
Oh, I do it every year. I do it every year just because, that's family, and that's our biggest common ground is football. And my mom, as much as she rolls her eyes with it, we kind of fall back into our ways of just talking about ball when we're around the house.
Appreciate it.
We got time for a few more. Go ahead, Cassidy.
Hey Brad, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. First thing, who were you mock drafting in third grade? Like, who was your first pick?
Oh man, there's a guy, Leonard Pope, was a tight end at Georgia, and it might not have been the third grade. That might have been a hyperbole. I think I was maybe in the sixth grade, and I was in Arizona. They ended up drafting him. My dad called me right before the pick. And he's like, "Hey, this might just be happenstance, but we're about to draft Leonard Pope." So I asked him if I could get a jersey, and they weren't really selling them, so you have to get the custom jersey. But that was the one that I'll always remember.
You called it. I know you said you're going to let this team kind of grow and see who they become, but when you do get them on the field next week for the first time, are there any sort of parameters you want to reach or see right off the bat just to kind of know where you're at? Like, how do you determine off the bat, like, what you're working with?
Well, for us, we're not you don't need to inundate them with too much quantity, and you just want them to own the pre-snap and just own the fundamentals of what the core of our offense will be. How do things marry up? How can we stop a play, coach the finer details, and get them to really buy into the things that make the difference as the season goes on. So that's really it. It's just not being in a hurry. It's teaching them to slow down and focus on those finer details and fundamentals.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.